Hi, my name is Dean Kyte. I'm a Melbourne writer, filmmaker, and flâneur. I'm the author of the Melbourne Flâneur and the Spleen of Melbourne, prose, poetry, and fiction. And today I'm going to share with you the softcover edition of my forthcoming book, Maledictions, Blasphemies, Laments, selections from Toxic Blossoms and Parisian Spleen. It's a collection of translations that I have made of the poetry and the prose poetry of Charles Baudelaire. And today I'm going to share with you the softcover version of this book. So the title, Maledictions, Blasphemies, Laments. This is quite an alienating title. Why would I have chosen that? Well, the title is drawn or adapted from a line from one of Baudelaire's poems. My first book of translations drawn from the works of Charles Baudelaire was called Flowers, Red and Black, and that was published in 2013. For about 3 years, I've been thinking about doing a new book of translations drawn from the works of Baudelaire, and I wanted a brand new title, one that was drawn from his own words. There were two or three phrases from his poems that seemed to resonate with me as potential titles. One was A Day More Sad Than Night, another was The Limitless Noir. But the first line that really struck with me, and the one that I kept coming back to, was this refrain: Maledictions, Blasphemies, Laments. Where does it come from? Well, it comes from poem number 4 in Les Fleurs du Mal. The title of that poem is Les Phare. The word phare in French is derived from pharos, the Greek word for lighthouse. It means a beacon. Baudelaire is perhaps not unique as a poet, but he is certainly unusual in that his primary poetic influences, as he sets forth in Les Phare, are not other poets. It's an 11-verse poem, and the first 8 verses are dedicated to artists. So we come across Rubens, we come across Leonardo da Vinci, Rembrandt, Michelangelo, Pierre Puget, Watteau, Goya, and finally Baudelaire's contemporary Delacroix, on whom he had many significant things to say in his critical writings. So in these first 8 verses of the poem, he is drawing an historical line of influence. This is his line of artistic descent. These are his lighthouses. These are his guiding lights. These are the beacons at the top of the rugged cliffs who shine a fugitive light on the black waters in which Baudelaire as a poet swims. You can regard each of these 8 verses, each dedicated to a different artist, as being the premises of Baudelaire's argument. And in the last 3 verses, he draws his characteristically undoctrinaire conclusions from the premises he's advanced. So we're looking here at the last 3 verses, and I'm just going to push in a little bit here. Ces malédictions, ces blasphèmes, ces plaintes, ces extases, ces cris, ces pleurs, ces te diem, sont un écho raidi parmi le labyrinthe, c'est pour les cœurs mortels un divin opium. These maledictions, these blasphemies, these laments, these ecstasies, these cries, these tears, these te diems, are an echo spoken over through 1,000 labyrinths. For human hearts, they combine in a divine opium. So in the first line of verse 8, we have various curses against God. We have maledictions, we have outright blasphemies, we have Job-like laments. In the second line, he changes tack and goes to positive cries, ecstasies, cries of joy, tears of joy, Te Deums. The Te Deum is one of the Catholic invocations. So these two genres of cry, one negative and one positive, are intimately linked for Baudelaire. And this point is made in line 3. Here we have the third person plural of être, sont un écho. They are one echo, spoken over through 1,000 labyrinths. And here, following his theory of correspondences, he continues to link them together in one entity. C'est pour les cœurs mortels un divin opium. For human hearts, they combine in a divine opium. So, from a multitude of cries, both negative and positive, these all funnel into one singular cry, one singular access of ecstasy, whether negative or positive, whether you are cursing God or praising Him, you are ultimately praising Him. And this praise, which is equally a damnation, is for him an intoxicant. It is a drug. He goes on to say in verse 10, c'est un cri répété par 1000 sentinelles, un autre renvoyé par 1000 porte-voix. C'est un phare allumé sur 1000 citadelles, un appel de chasseurs perdu dans les grands bois. Again, he continues to funnel these variety of cries into one singular cry. It is one cry repeated by 1,000 sentinels. It is one order sent forward by 1,000 horns. C'est un phare allumé sur 1000 citadelles. It is a light, a blaze upon 1,000 citadels. Un appel de chasseurs perdu dans les grands bois. It's the halloo of huntsmen, of hunters who are lost in a great wood. And in the final verse, he comes to his ultimate conclusion, car c'est vraiment, Seigneur, le meilleur témoignage que nous puissions donner de notre dignité, que cet ardent sanglot qui roule d'âge en âge et vienne mourir au bord de votre éternité. Car c'est vraiment, Seigneur, les meilleurs témoignages. For this is truly, O Lord, the best testimony. Testimony, témoignage, to be un témoin is to be a witness. And we are reminded by that word in the French that there is a biblical analog to the legal condition of being a witness. The writers of the Gospels themselves are testimonies. They witness to the fact of Jesus Christ's embodied presence upon this earth. For this is truly, O Lord, the best testimony que nous puissions donner de notre dignité, that we can possibly give of our dignity, of our human dignity, of our condition of being men. Que cet ardent sanglot qui roule d'âge en âge, get this ardent cry, this sob, which rolls as a rock or a stone or a ball rolls forward from century to century, down through the ages, just like the line of descent that Baudelaire is tracing from Rubens to Delacroix to himself. It is a torch that is passed forward by from artist to artist down through the ages. Et vienne mourir au bord de votre éternité. And it ultimately comes to die at the edge of God's, votre eternity, his immensity, his unending quality. So that's the rationale for why I have chosen this title. Bleak as it seems, these maledictions, these blasphemies, these laments, as much as they are damnations of God, they are for Baudelaire cries of praise. They are an intoxicant, they are a drug, they are a divine opium, they are the most life-giving of drugs. This is the ultimate black pill that you can possibly take. This divine opium of praising God, with damnation is, for Baudelaire, the way to heal yourself and purify yourself alchemically of your sins. Now, if you have stuck with me this far on this journey of explanation, there's a good chance that you will be interested in purchasing this book when it comes out in June. I recommend that you go to my website, deankyte.com. Here on the front page, the welcome page, you will find a sign-up form to register your interest in purchasing this book. It simply requires your name and your email address, and I will put you on the mailing list. I am releasing newsletters on a monthly basis to keep people apprised of the progress of this book. If you click on the front cover of the book here, this will take you through to an internal page on the website, which will tell you a little bit more about the project, and it also has a sign-up form here at the bottom.